Hello, World History 10 students. Um, we're virtual, right? So please pay attention to this video all the way through. I got a lot in it. Okay. All right. First up, we worked on this yesterday. A lot of people are asking about context. Just realize what I mean by that is, if you define nationalism or self-determination, great. But like the context part of it means like, why are they using that vocab word there? Like, what is the significance in the chapter? Okay. Tell us why it's important. Okay, that's all I can say. All right, this next part with the Bismarck telegram, do this, but don't do it now. Okay, actually do it after the video you're going to watch today because it should be helpful to you to go over this. Now, some of the changes are subtle, but I think you'll see them after you see that part of the video. I think it'll help, okay? And then this is pretty short, and this would be a good thing to watch as well. Okay, so come back to this, but do it after the video. Okay, so let's talk about today. Again, we're looking at nationalistic revolutions and basically the rise of nation states and the rise of nationalism, specifically a little bit about Italy, but mostly about Germany. Okay, so I want to kind of just show a map right here. It's a little confusing because it wasn't called Germany at this time. Okay, just like at one time Italy wasn't called Italy. But we have this German Confederation. So this is a group of people, all right, in a way a nation, but not a state, as in not a formal government that unifies them all together. So this is after the French have already kind of broke up. Well, this is after the French Empire. So when they left, a lot of things were broke apart still. Other empires were able to take areas. But for the most part, what we're talking about when for the German unification is this country called Prussia right here and also over here. But also understand, though, that Prussia has a lot of the same culture and people as the rest of the German Confederation. Okay, so what Otto von Bismarck would like to do is basically make this one country. Okay, and also he has some other influence as well. I'm going to come back to this map in a little bit, so stay tuned. But I just wanted to show you this because it's maybe a little confusing when they talk about Prussia. Okay. So just think old world Germany, but not together yet. All right. So do the warm-up. And then this video assignment, there's a worksheet that goes with it. And then you then should continue your section 1 reading guide. So let's go through some of this video assignment. All right. So here it is. Now, there's a lot in here. There's, yeah, I'm just going to say that. There's the old crash course series for world history, and then there's like the European one, which the European one gives a lot more detail, but it has good insight. So as you're listening, kind of listen for these ideas. These kind of come up in your book and are relevant. Okay, now this first question, there is not an answer in the video, so I'm going to help you with this one. So for context, what happened to the Holy Roman Empire? All right, so let's answer that first. So kind of going back to this map again. So this area here was considered the Holy Roman Empire. It was German and even all the way down to Italy. And it existed for over 1,000 years, okay? Napoleon beat it, okay? So Napoleon was able to take over this area during his empire growing, I guess you'd say. But when they left it, that was pretty much it. Like there is no Holy Roman Empire any longer. And after the Congress of Vienna, it was just the German Confederation of States. So smaller states that were, held together maybe culturally. Okay. All right. That's the first part. Second part. What did the Congress of Vienna decide about who controlled the Italian states? So this map doesn't show up, but there was actually a bunch of smaller states that were, because this is 1864-ish. Italian states weren't put together. They were put together before that. But again, the French Empire included Italy, and again, the Congress of Vienna was after, and they wanted to limit the power of the French. So Italy was actually still in broken states after they left. So that's why we see this unification after. Okay. All right. Now, going forward, the video should help you with most of this, but there are a few that are maybe a little bit tricky. Actually, no. So really this first part, the first 4 minutes is all about Italy, okay? But then after that, the rest of the video is all about German unification, all right? Down here, you go a little bit farther. There's this idea, I think, you're gonna keep coming up, seeing it up in history. People identified this today in various parts of the world as well. But this idea is negative integration. So I'd like you to kind of hone in on this part really well. Right here, towards the end of the video at 1331, he says, in your community, whether there's a nation state, group of people, or are you? He's saying like you're part of a people, whether it be a small thing like a group, like a club at school, okay, or you're part of a group of millions of people. All right, how do you define yourself? By what you share or what you are, okay, or what you are, or are you primarily defined by what you are not, or what you are opposed to? So I want you to take this onto a personal level. Think of a group that you're a part of. So do you define yourselves, all right, how you think of yourself? Do you find yourself how the members of the group are the same? Or do you define yourselves on how the group is different from other people's or groups? Okay, so again, this could be a group of 10 people. It could be a group of 10,000 people, 10 million people, 100 million people, maybe even 1 billion people. But tell me what group you're part of, and then why do you define yourself that way? Why do you think it's more of you think of yourselves as a group of people that are the same, or a group of people that you define yourself by how you're different than another group? All right, I think give me an example of that. So an example in history, the reason I want to hit on this so much is, so you could think of Bismarck. He unified people by being anti-Catholic. He also unified people by being anti-socialist. Okay, so both of these ideas he was against, and that's how he kind of rallied people around him, by pointing out the differences between him and his group of people and how they are. You see Hitler do this. He gathers people around him to basically hate Jews and blame them for all his problems, or the German people's. So sometimes people collect themselves in opposition to an idea, or in opposition to a people, or in opposition to a government, or in opposition against a team even. Okay, so we see negative and positive integration, but I want you to be able to identify this. If you, or even just, your community, your culture, your country, whatever it might be, do you see this happen? All right. I think it's a theme that comes in and out of history all the time, and it's something to be aware of because it's useful to how we perceive the world. Okay. One thing I also want to help you on real quick is this letter. Okay. So in this letter, so this might be a little confusing when you read it, right? But you got to go back to in the video when they're talking about how, let's look at this, how basically what this is Prussia, right? They're gaining strength. They're unifying the country. France is getting a little worried with Prussia gaining power. This is the German people. And in Spain, they're getting a new king, and it's proposed that maybe it'll be a Prussian prince, basically of the same family as some of the leadership over here. And France doesn't like this because they're thinking now there's even other power over here. They're going to be loyal to the Prussians maybe. France doesn't want this. So they send a letter, okay? Or actually, no, I'm sorry. They send an ambassador to go talk to Prussia saying, hey, when he comes up for a vote again, or when he's nominated again, please don't submit him, okay? We don't want that. Let's keep the peace, basically. And Prussia, the king of Prussia, he's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think, I don't want to honor that. But, he says it in a nice way, basically, okay? And then France, doesn't like this. But in the letter, what happens is that it's different just enough that it has the same points made in it. All right, so you have to find that. But what happens is you find that it's what Bismarck does is, oops, sorry about that. What Bismarck does is he edits the letter that goes back to France, and it makes it sound offensive. Like it makes it sound like, so basically, anyways, the letter's offensive enough that it actually angers France and Germany, so Bismarck basically manipulated the message so he could get France to get angry enough to fight them, go to war against them. And again, you see this in history with people just change the message some, and they do it for political, powerful reasons, economic reasons, whatever it might be. But controlling information is very powerful. So yes, please go ahead and do that video assignment. Watch the video, complete the worksheet, then go back to the reading guide, which has that letter written in there. And then there is extra credit Saturday. If you'd like to consider doing it, it's up to 10 points. The assignment's on Classroom. You can get a look at that. Oh, and one other thing. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, let's look at the week. So tomorrow, or today, you know, and then tomorrow, the Ed Puzzle lecture and notes, so that'll be available. It's going to be basically an overview of the entire section. Okay, so I'll make that available to you. I don't know if I'll do Ed Puzzle. I might just make it a lecture and you can take notes. Okay, and then Thursday is going to be a scheduled quiz. Likely, the school, we're trying to decide how do we engage more students to keep them on track. So we might start seeing at least core teachers scheduling out the day. So don't think you can go milking at 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock or something anymore. We need to keep people on it, you know. So you may see a scheduled quiz on Thursday where you have to log on, be there at a specific time to take the quiz or to receive instruction. Okay. Stay tuned for that. I'll let you know later today or tomorrow. Okay. See ya.